Welcome to Safe Money Strategies with Susan Moore-Vault, president of Moore Financial Strategies. Susan specializes in working with those over the age of 50 and is now in her 20th year as a financial services professional in Tucson. None of Susan's clients has ever lost a dime in this market. Susan is an Air Force veteran, a former detective, a mother, and a grandmother. Susan's mantra is get educated about your options so you can make informed decisions. And now, here's your host, Susan Moore-Vault.
Protecting all you have. More financial strategies.
Good morning, Tucson. This is Susan Moore-Vault. As always, thank you so much for spending this time with me so nice and early on Saturday morning. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you've got a great weekend planned. It's just, this weather has just been crazy, and I'm so glad to get some rain and kind of break up the really oppressive heat, but Lord knows we need that rain. It takes care of the critters and the plants and nurturing them all, and kind of breaks up the heat too. I love looking at the thunderstorms and seeing the lightning and just watching how beautiful everything is, even though it's kind of scary sometimes. Nothing like the fabulous sunsets. Aren't they spectacular with all the clouds? Nobody does it like God. Amen? Anyhow, thank you for being with me. If this is your first time tuning in, my mantra is get educated on your options so you can make informed decisions. I've been in business in Tucson over 21 years and proud to say that in all that time, none of my clients has ever lost a dime using our safe money strategies. I focus on helping people that are getting ready to retire or are retired maintain what they have, grow what they have, and have the assurance of knowing that they will have enough money for the rest of their lives. I mean, let's face it, there are so many things we can't control. I like to work on the things we can control. It sure makes life a lot easier for all of us. Moore Financial Strategies is A+ accredited with the Tucson Better Business Bureau, and folks, whoever you're working with, please check them out. Whether it's me, whether it's your current advisor, see if they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. If not, why not? Check out, if they're an insurance agent like me, the Department of Insurance, the Arizona Department of Insurance. If they're a broker, the state or FINRA, FINRA.org. It's your money, and you have a right to know if somebody's had complaints and how they have been resolved or not. Very important. Do you know how many people trusted Bernie Madoff with millions and millions of dollars? They thought he was so wonderful. And look what happened. They thought because everybody else loved him that they should love him, and because he supposedly made so much for other people. Don't get caught up with a bad apple, folks. Check out whoever you're working with. Please do it for yourself. Let me ask you, have you had your advisor gone over what will happen in the next crash? We know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if. Please make sure that you're protected. If he or she doesn't have a solid plan in place to protect you, you're risking everything. Are you willing to do that? Do you want to go through what you went through in 2008? Can you afford to lose any money at this stage in your life? It's something to think about. Well, I saw an article that I've been holding on to for a little while because I haven't had the time to read it, but I think this is important. State governments are eyeing inactive broker accounts. I'll try to whip through this, but this was in the Wall Street Journal Sunday edition of the Arizona Daily Star in May. Attention buy and hold investors. A recent flare-up over escheatment, the age-old right of a government to claim abandoned or unclaimed property, has highlighted the importance of keeping in contact about your accounts. Revenue-starved state governments have been reducing dormancy periods for securities accounts, or the amount of time an account can lie abandoned before it must be remitted to the state, generally from 3 to 5 years. Traditionally, an account was labeled abandoned when mail sent to the account holder's last known address got returned by the post office as undeliverable. Over the last 5 years, however, States have been moving away from the old returned mail requirement toward a new account inactivity standard. More than 1/3 of all states now use inactivity, either alone or in conjunction with other criteria, to trigger escheatment. But as recent turmoil in the tiny but hugely important state of Delaware illustrates, it's not always clear what makes an account active or inactive. Any shareholder in a Delaware incorporated company, now that's very important for you to know. Many companies are incorporated in Delaware, including, whose current address is unknown or the issuer is a foreign address, including U.S. military personnel stationed aboard. More than half of all U.S. publicly traded companies are incorporated in Delaware. So listen up. Of particular concern were accounts that owners haven't abandoned at all, but are simply running on the investing equivalent of autopilot. Accounts where shareholders have chosen to automatically reinvest their dividends, so-called dividend reinvestment plans or DRIPs, or to have them deposited directly into their bank accounts, need to be very cautious. States may view them as inactive accounts unless there's evidence of owner-initiated contact on the account. So, folks, just be real careful. If you've had your account on automatic pilot, you could end up having your stocks turned over to the state. Among the actions an investor can take to generate account activity, increasing or decreasing the amount of investment in the account, and writing or calling to update an address or beneficiary form or make an inquiry. Delaware's firestorm aside, it's clear that investors everywhere need to start being more vigilant about their accounts. The simplest way to keep your accounts active is to vote your proxies. And it ends by saying, we all do our taxes once a year. That's a good time to reach out and touch the companies and let the people know you're still out there. So I just wanted to share that with you because there's another long arm grab of the government trying to get a hold of your money. So please make sure your accounts are updated. And one way to never have to worry about that is to move them over to me. You'll never have to worry about that situation occurring. And for more information, please give me a call at 296-4464. Again, that's 296-4464. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
More financial strategies.
Have you had enough of the market gyrations yet? Is a double dip recession here or near? Hi, it's Glenn Beck, and I want to tell you about Susan Moore Vault at Moore Financial Strategies. If you're over 50 and you're concerned about your nest egg, you need to see Susan. She's been serving Tucson now for about 20 years, and she's never lost one dime of her clients' money. Excuse me? True. For IRA and 401k rollovers, Susan can eliminate your risk and ensure that your money is safe no matter what the market does. She can show you how to guarantee the safety and growth of your money for the rest of your life. Do your own homework with Susan and carefully decide how to manage your money. Do you want to bet on the market, or could your portfolio use some diversification to ensure some stable income no matter what happens on Wall Street? Talk to a true retirement specialist. The only one in Tucson that I've agreed to endorse is Susan Moore Vault. Call Susan now at 296-4464. That's 296-4464.
More financial strategies.
Hi, folks. We're back. You know, when I have folks come in and tell me that they're almost back to where they were in 2007, I just want to cry. They could have been growing their money, indeed compounding it, if they'd had it with me. None of my clients lost a dime during 2008. That was a disaster. Those folks love me because their money is safe and they have confidence about their future. Do you? If you're over 59 and a half, you can probably roll over your 401k into a traditional IRA that will give you a 10 to 12% bonus up front and create a guaranteed lifetime income no matter what happens to the market. If you have old IRAs or 401ks that are sitting around doing nothing, or worse, losing money, call me now. Don't wait. We can give you a 10% bonus up front and add a rider that will guarantee growth in income for the rest of your life. Call 296-4464 again. That's 296-4464. You know, when you're working with somebody for many, many years and they're a broker and they've been doing a great job on helping you with accumulation, you know, saving money for retirement, that's wonderful. And that's what their job is, accumulation. For most brokers, that's their specialty, is accumulation. But when it comes time to crack the nest egg and get to preservation and distribution, you need to be thinking about who's going to do the best job for you. I read an article by Elaine Floyd, who is just an amazing person. We've had her on the show. I'd just like to share some excerpts from her article. It's a big transition when you leave the workforce to live on your savings. Moving from an accumulation to a distribution strategy requires an attitude adjustment. Here are some issues to consider. Retirement planning is easy during the accumulation stage. Just stash as much in savings as possible and maximize total returns. All that really matters is that you end up with money at retirement. If investment returns vary from year to year, or if returns are made up of interest or dividends or capital gains, it doesn't much matter. It's all a race to grow the nest egg as large as possible. Success is measured by account values, pure and simple. Then comes the day when you can finally crack the nest egg and start withdrawing funds. Now, the goal is no longer simply to grow the account balance, but rather to provide enough current income to meet your spending needs and to allow the nest egg to diminish as it naturally must without letting it disappear. Success is measured by your happiness and the careful monitoring of withdrawal rates and account values to ensure that your money is not in danger of running out. Needless to say, accumulation planning is far easier than distribution planning. We're going to discuss some of the aspects of distribution planning. 1. Dollar cost averaging works in reverse. You have learned that investing a fixed dollar amount during volatile markets allows you to buy more shares when prices are down. That's what dollar cost averaging is. This is a good thing. But when you are withdrawing fixed dollar amounts from a volatile portfolio, temporary dips can do serious damage because more shares must be liquidated to provide the same amount of cash. 2, compounding also works in reverse. In the classic why save now approach, you learn that the early buildup of an investment account provides a larger base for future compounding. The rule comes into play a little differently when determining withdrawal rates. Taking out too much too soon will diminish the impact of compounding on the remaining assets. 3, the sequence of investment returns matters. Under an accumulation strategy, dips in asset values can be made up by a bull market or increased savings. What matters is the average annual total return. During the distribution phase, poor returns in the early years can cripple a portfolio and cause money to run out early. Last thing we want to have happen. 4, time is the enemy. Under an accumulation strategy, the longer the money stays invested, the more it will grow. When funds are being withdrawn, the opposite is true. Finally, mistakes can be fatal. During the accumulation phase, mistakes in planning, saving, or investing can always be fixed by adding more money, revising the portfolio, working longer, and so on. In retirement, when money is coming out, no new money is going in. There is far less room for error. Part of transitioning into retirement is learning some fundamental concepts relating to the management of your nest egg. In particular, be aware of the dangers of volatility, excessive withdrawals in the early years, and a longer than expected withdrawal period. These potential dangers can undo a lifetime of diligent saving. The worst part is that these mistakes may not show up until it's too late to fix them. Planning for income requires careful number crunching and a strategy for actually getting